All right, great morning and afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our webinar session today titled Implementing a Multi-State Social Media Program, Walk Away 30 for 30. Like Travis said, my name is Brad Averill. I'm the Family and Consumer Sciences Agent from the University of Georgia Extension. And I'm joined here today by my colleagues, Serene Greenway from Idaho and Jamie Delafield from the Ohio State University. Our program was created by a collaboration of agents from all across the country in October of 2021. And in our roles as extension agents and educators, we use the outreach and the resources and programs to help improve the quality of life for our individuals and our families from all across the country. We take the training and disseminate research-based publications, and we link families, businesses, and communities to the university faculty and resources. And chronic disease prevention is a program area for many of the agents on the webinar today that they have selected as a plan of their work. Our group realized there is a need within our communities to deliver that evidence-based education in the topics of health and wellness. And this is true on a local, regional, and national level. This important information is here for Georgia, as it is in the Midwest Plains, Southwest deserts, the coastal Northeast, and the mountain ranges of the West. And it is especially important during the holiday season. Now, the concept of daily physical activity and movement seems simple. All I have to do is move. So to get us started this morning, I'd like to ask you, our fellow peers, what are a few barriers that you have to personally participating in regular physical activity? So go ahead and type in the chat, what are a few of the barriers that you face to getting your daily physical activity? We'll give everybody 30 seconds to type in the chat box. What are some things that get in the way of you participating in daily physical activity? I got booted. 1 second. All right, can you guys hear me? Okay. All right, in the chat, we have night meetings, responsibilities, stiff limbs, time constraints, motivation. Okay, set the same time to exercise. So a lot of those are barriers that we do face in our day-to-day kind of responsibilities that we have things going on. My computer's running a little slow. So opportunities for physical activity might decrease over the last 2 months of the year as family gatherings, holiday parties, and those vacations that we all take the last couple months of the year start to happen. Staying active during the holiday season can help you keep a healthy weight, and walking is probably the easiest way to begin and maintain a active lifestyle, even during the holidays when leisure time is difficult to come by. Now, leisure physical activity time is not just a problem over the holidays. According to the CDC, 25.2% of adults engage in no leisure time physical activity. And when I say leisure time physical activity, I'm talking about that intentional movement. It's that time of the day when you make the decision to get up and move your body. Trips from the couch to the fridge, from your car to your office, or back and forth from the printer are not leisure time activities unless your office is huge and you have to walk a long way to get to the printer. We're talking about that time that you take for yourself to improve your physical and your mental health. And increasing your physical activity requires a comprehensive effort from many members of the community, and cooperative extension seemed like a great way to find this information over the holidays. So in 2021, I collaborated with 9 other cooperative extension agents from all across the country to define a health-based program that incorporated policy, systems, and environmental changes. And by utilizing systems like Zoom, Facebook, and Canva, this multi-state team provided a 30-day wellness program via social media. And the goal of this program was to foster a community of engagement for individuals to make short-term changes for better health. Now, in order to find potential program collaborators, I simply used our NEAFCS Facebook page, and I put up a post requesting if anybody was interested in joining our program. And from that request, I received 9 emails from extension faculty from all across the country in all sorts of different time zones inquiring about our program. So 7 different extension offices from all across the country, including myself and Carrie Vandiver from the University of Georgia, Carmen from Purdue University, Cheryl from Prairie View A&M, Jennifer from North Carolina State, Amy and Serene from Idaho, and Jamie from Ohio State University, and Nicole from University of Kentucky all got together for this program. We facilitated, designed, and delivered this program together. Now, 30 for 30 Walkaway is a virtual walking and wellness program that is delivered on Facebook, designed to increase the daily physical activity and to provide research-based information to improve the quality of life for our program participants. Now, this picture here is from our very first Zoom planning session, where we outlined exactly what we wanted our program to look like, who our audience was, and how we wanted to market this program to make the most impact. It's just a really, really good program for all of us to join together. Now, conceptually, this program is simple. Starting November 15th, participants would walk for 30 minutes a day for 30 straight days. Now, program participants that walked to that 30 minutes were asked to post their daily pictures and descriptions of their 30-minute sessions of physical activity. Now, it didn't have to be walking. We tried to outline that it would be nice if they were walking, but we would take physical activity like swimming, biking, walking, or any other bouts of physical activity to post to our page. And in addition to posting, we also encourage participants to give encouragement to other members of our group to tell them that they're doing a great job and that they appreciate what they're doing for our group. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to turn it over to Serene so she can walk us through some specifics about physical activity.
So thank you, Brad. So as Brad shared, he talked to you how, getting that collaboration started, but the real program implementation was based around walking. And the reason why walking was selected is it can be one of the best ways to start a physical activity routine, or even continue or return to one if we've maybe started and stopped. The reason why it can be so beneficial is it does not require special skills, facilities, or expensive equipment to start implementing it. There are also many studies that even show that walking has health benefits and a low risk of injury, which can be extremely important, especially as Brad identified, we were talking about the holiday season. And so as we talk about it being done, around the holidays, it's also available year round and in many different settings. And for substantial health benefits, adults should do at least 150 to 300 minutes a week of moderate intensity. So that's the equivalent of 75 to 150 minutes a week of vigorous intensity of aerobic physical activity, or the combination of moderate and vigorous to have that intensity equivalent. And so preferably, aerobic activity should be spread throughout the week to have that maximum health benefit for our bodies. If participants walked for 30 minutes per day each day of the week, they would surpass that 150-minute minimum, as we have those per week guidelines for moderate to vigorous physical activity. And so that always brings us to the next question. So Brad even shared, we tried to share walking, but we as a team want to make it really obvious to participants they could look at other options, but we wanted to start the premise that even that 30 minutes of physical activity of walking. But the biggest question that we got to was, that light intensity, that moderate intensity, what is the vigorous intensity, because that all factors into those guidelines of how many minutes per week. And so on that previous slide, I think it's hilarious. Brad loves to say, Sparky was confused as well. And so Sparky has made an appearance in a lot of our social media activism, as we have a lot of individuals that do their physical activity with pets. So how appropriate for that picture to be there. But as we talk about that light intensity, and that's where we're trying to have that basis that all participants can participate even at the light intensity level, and that's why we recommend those 30 minutes per day. A way to understand and measure the intensity of aerobic activity is by understanding intensity and how physical activity affects your heart rate and breathing. And so with light intensity, physical activities are those movements that do not use levels of exertion that are additional, or that you can't continue a conversation. So examples would be walking slowly, sitting here at my computer, playing an instrument, and sitting here reading this PowerPoint for you today. Those are all examples of that light physical activity. So then it brings us to what is moderate intensity when we talk about physical activity. And so a great way to exemplify this would be the talk test. So measuring that relative intensity that You know, okay, here can be a medium interval for individuals wanting to step it up a little, or trying to do a light and a moderate. So in general, if you're doing moderate intensity, you can talk but not sing during that physical activity taking place. So walking briskly, so 3 miles per hour or faster, but not race walking. Water aerobics are a great example. Bicycling slower than 10 miles per hour on a flat terrain. Bicycling 5 to 9 miles per hour with that. Competitive tennis, some yoga can be a moderate intensity. So a variety of ways. And that was something that we have definitely seen in our program taking place. And so that's the intensity range that we want to achieve, because again, the heart health benefits of that. And then we have vigorous intensity. So that's where it's something that we don't want to go straight to this, because in general, if you're doing vigorous intensity, you will be not able to say more than a few words without pausing for a breath. These are more intense and should be something that individuals build up to. And so a great example of that is, you know, all of these different gyms that receive these memberships in the month of January with the most appropriate intentions from participants. And then by January 5th, they're a ghost town because individuals maybe went straight to that vigorous intensity. And with that, it's a recipe for injury, because it's not a sustainable level, especially if someone is just starting to go from a sedentary lifestyle to having physical activity in a regular routine. And so with that, we didn't want our participants to go too hard. We didn't want it to be unrealistic, and most of all, unsustainable for our participants. So some vigorous intensity examples would be running or a really fast jog, mountain climbing, step aerobics, some competitive basketball, boxing or sparring. A lot of this looking at some competitive level or jump rope, but definitely doing those higher intensities. And so with that, where we really wanted to encourage our participants to fall was under moderate intensity. And this is because with moderate intensity, they're getting some of those heart benefits of getting their heart rate up, and it's a little bit better to have that intensity for to meet those requirements on a weekly basis. And so this was the movement part of our program. And again, we had participants participating in a variety of these different activities, not just the walking, the brisk walking, in order to get that physical activity in. And so as Brad outlined, recruiting and creating this collaboration, the whole premise was to really focus on those healthier lifestyles and healthier decisions when it came to physical activity. However, there was also the educational component of the program. While we did want to incentivize individuals to post and to encourage others, we also wanted to ensure that our participants were learning throughout that process. And so there was the educational component through the use of Canva flyers. So as Brad shared, we used Facebook as that platform. Then we as the instructors for the program created educational flyers. You can see a variety of them here. There was one post per day throughout the 30-day program. And so with 9 different collaborators during our very first session, each individual had the opportunity to create 3 to 4 social media posts based on a specific topic, such as these here. And then in addition to those educational based posts that were posted to the Facebook page per day, we also had social media post lessons. And so there were 4 of these. There was 1 per week, and they were called Walkaway Lessons, broadcast live on Facebook via Zoom. And the Walkaway is a curriculum from University of Georgia that utilized Zoom-based education once per week to deliver the program. So each of the 4 lessons includes research and evidence-based information from the University of Georgia, the National Institutes of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases, the Working Group for the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute, and the American College of Sports Medicine. So 4 program collaborators picked 1 lesson from 12 potential lessons that they could select from that curriculum to deliver that program participant knowledge. And to be clear, this is in addition to those educational Facebook posts that were also research-based information for participants. and then they would be hosted live once per week on our Facebook program page. And so in addition to our educational posts, our interaction as page administrators, so with our program participants and then among program participants, we also, as instructors of this program, have the opportunity to share social media posts and articles, videos, and additional infographics or upcoming programs that were nutrition or physical activity related. And so here's an example of some different content. So Jennifer Brown, one of the mentioned instructors for this program, sharing about winter health tips. And so here on the other side of the same slide, we see that there is a dehydration basics workshop being offered. So not a part of this specific program, but leading those participants to continue accessing cooperative extension-based resources to educate themselves. And so for the 30 for 30 walkaway and extension collaboration program, it was offered exclusively on Facebook. And this was very purposeful in that, so that it could all concentrate the data, the analytics could be collected from one platform. And also we were directing all of the traffic to that specific platform for the program. And so with that, it encouraged that interaction with our participants, with the instructors, and amongst the participants as well. And we think it did increase that participant engagement. And then ultimately it does assist with that data collection in the long run. And so one thing that really made this collaboration successful as far as the marketing piece and recruiting participation was that county extension websites and Facebook pages across the country shared our flyer on their home pages, and this really increased the traffic to our program Facebook group, because it is a group, not a page. I know I commonly call it a page, but it is a group, and that was intentional and in trying to create some interaction among participants. But the marketing flyer was shared on several social media pages, including in Georgia, Kentucky, Montana, Idaho, Ohio, North Carolina, Indiana, Texas. And as Brad shared at the very top, this collaboration started through the National Extension Association and Family and Consumer Sciences Facebook page, for him just putting that call out, and we all just eagerly joined in. And so they also shared this flyer. So we think that that was really beneficial in reaching out to some of our FCS colleagues across the nation for them to share it, whether they were participating in this event or not. And so in addition to marketing on each of the participating cooperative extension Facebook pages, each of the program collaborators, so each of the instructors, we also shared it on our personal pages or additional pages that we may have been a part of. And we even asked our friends, our Facebook friends, to join in our program. And so that was also in addition to marketing flyer on the University of Georgia Extension Facebook page, University of Georgia Extension's Instagram and Twitter pages as well. So while we only hosted it on Facebook, we did look to other avenues for marketing the program. And all marketing and promotion for this program was done organically, and there were no boosted or paid posts in order to incentivize that participation in this program. And so with that, it's now going over to Jamie.
Thanks, Serene. So thank you so much. So as we look at this impact, it's really just beyond exciting, I think, that this program had local, regional, and national impact as a collaboration. So we had 1,225 participants from 16 different states and from 9 different countries. And I don't know about you all, but that is amazing. I'm lucky sometimes if I get 4 people at a county event. And some of the people who participated were people who are always like, oh, I'd like to come to your event, but can never make it, but regularly posted. And I think we all have that story of individuals in our own communities and in our friend groups who did that. So upon the launch of the program on November 14th, our group had 835 members. Throughout the promotion and sharing of the program, not only from ourselves, but from our participants, our program numbers grew to 1,100 participants within the first 30 days. So as we moved through the program, participants were encouraged to share photos of their 30-minute bouts of physical activity each day. Throughout the initial 30-day program, there were 1,877 pictures posted. 1,988 comments were made from participants to other participants. So there were some really awesome connections that were happening. And then, are you all ready for this? This number always astounds me. 27,316 reactions, likes, loves, cares were posted within the Facebook group. Program participants walked a combined 56,310 minutes in 30 days. So that just makes my FCS educator heart real happy. So Facebook collects the insights, the data on growth and engagement on a daily basis. Analysis of this data will support the effectiveness of structuring an engaging social media-based educational program. We thought you all would enjoy seeing some of the highlights from our program. These pictures, comments, and reactions inspired participants to get outside of their own comfort zones to get more physically active over the holidays. So let's take a look at the engagement that we saw.
Okay. So this video is only about a third of the pictures that were posted in the first 30 days. So you can imagine all the pictures that have been posted since, and we'll turn it back over to Jamie to finish our discussion. So in interest of time, we're going to go ahead and skip through the rest of that video.
And we do notice there's some questions in chat, so we'll get to those in a second. And as you notice, a lot of times the wonderful thing was we got to see pictures from around the country. Not everyone was comfortable posting a picture of themselves, but lots of encouraging pictures of animals and scenery and just Fitbits in general, right? That well done is always a great thing to see. So as we look at the data, because that's something we're always looking for, right? That impact. Pre and post surveys were collected to determine short-term behavior change. Prior to the program, pre-survey results indicated that 33% of the participants reported walking 5 or more days per week. Post-survey results indicated a drastic change in weekly walking. You can see this on this graph. 77% of participants reported walking at least 5 days per week. So this is very, very impactful. We also noticed that the impact continued. After the conclusion of the initial 30-day program, the impact was shown by participants' desire to continue posting pictures and engaging with others. Many participants reached out to the program collaborators requesting continuation of our program. So between December 16th and January 22nd, program participants posted 550 pictures, 684 comments, and 7,990 reactions. Again, those likes, loves, and cares to one another. This continuation of participation and engagement included sharing success stories, exercise routines, recipes, and program collaborators continued to post research and evidence-based materials for participant viewing. And all of that demonstrates the program's success. This is one of our participants. Her name is Renee, who is on her 6th round of 30 for 30. She has walked 30 minutes per day for 30 days straight for 302 straight days, and she continues to walk. She wrote a letter of support for our program that was attached to our NEAFCS award application, in which we are proud to say that we did win first place nationally for our social media campaign. To date, there have been 3,800 pictures, 4,000 comments of support, 60,000 likes, and over 100,000 minutes of physical activity posted to this page by program participants. Our group is holding strong at 1,400 members, and we are looking to start again on November 14th. So the program's success was acknowledged by sharing of the program from different outside entities in a variety of social media and news platforms. The University of Georgia's Newswire wrote a story on this cooperative extension program on November 18th that was shared by 12 different news outlets all across the country. In addition, the success of the program was shared on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. These news outlets have a reach of approximately 9.4 million viewers. But the greatest impact of this program was not the number of posts or program participants, but in the lifestyle changes that we saw implemented as a result. One participant stated, and I quote, "It has given me a bit of pleasure seeing where people live and walk. I mean, that little bit of time made me feel even better than my own walking. Thank you. I live alone and away from people, so this has been like having a nice little community to check in on." To begin our session, we asked you what are 3 barriers that you had to participating in regular physical activity. Can any of you think of 3 ways? And actually, we asked you for 1, but we saw a lot more, right? Can we ask you to share some ways that you can combat those barriers based on our presentation? So for me, right, I put that it was cold outside. So one of the things that I learned last year during this time is that there's no bad weather in Ohio, there's just bad dress. So I got very creative and began with some friends of mine. We started doing an online walking group. And so there are some really great videos that you can watch of people walking online. So we would all say, "Hey, did you watch today's video?" And we would all walk in our living rooms, which was really kind of cool. So that was one way that I learned to combat the barrier. What about the rest of you?
Serene, could you share what you did yesterday for your activity?
So one great thing is that even instructors can learn tips, tricks, and new things to try. So over the summer months, I know it came into the chat as a question, has this continued? And I'll make sure that to turn that over to Brad as we talk about, not just this first implementation that we did, but how we're continuing to carry on. So over the summer months, someone shared about a Grow with Joe, this gal that hosts physical activity content through YouTube. And someone had shared about it. And I had even asked in the comment section, "Hey, can you share more about this?" And that's how I learned about this gal. And so last night I went to YouTube, and my 5-year-old daughter and I got a Grow with Joe video on, and we really challenged ourselves. "This is hard" was the comment a lot from my 5-year-old, but I told her we just try our best because there were a lot of things I couldn't do either. So it was a great challenging workout, and it was fun, and definitely a way for me to get that physical activity in when it's nice and cold out.
All right, thank you guys for sharing that in the chat. So we've got the people are going to prioritize, schedule time in, go to bed earlier, find accountability, Yeah, all of those things help, right? I know that for myself, if I know that somebody's depending on me or wanting me to do it, and I'm not the best at posting on social media, I was probably the least poster of the group. Good at interacting, but I'm not always really good to remember to post. If you're friends with me on Facebook, you'll notice I'm really bad about that too. So it's hard sometimes to teach an old dog new tricks, but we definitely appreciated all of the interactions and look forward to continuing. So as we close today, we just want to say that it's been great to get to know each other. The first time that we all met was in Raleigh, and we had a wonderful time. But without the collaboration, this program wouldn't have been the success that it was. So thanks to everyone who participated. And Brad, I'm going to turn it back to you for questions from everyone.
We had a few questions in the chat, so we'll go back up and address some of those questions. So one of the questions was, did we create a hashtag for this event? And yes, we did use a hashtag. We used the hashtag 30 for 30 on some of our posts. So as soon as you would type that in, it would say 600 other posts have used this hashtag. So we did use the hashtag 30 for 30 for some of our posts. Not all participants used it, but as the administrators and collaborators on the group, we tried to use the hashtag 30 for 30. Another question was, will this be offered in 2022, 2023? Absolutely. Thanks for the question, Kevin. We're going to be running, which will be our third official session of 30 for 30 Walkaway starting on November 14th. And that will go through December 13th or December 15th, one of those dates. I can't remember off the top of my head. But we will be running it for the 30 days. And we are still looking for any program collaborators who would like to join us. So if this is something that you would be interested in, please, you can drop me an email. I will put my email in the chat before we leave today, and we can guide you through the process of what it is to join our team. It is not a large ask. It is simply being active within the group and coming up with a few Canva-inspired social media posts for others to look at based on a variety of wellness topics. We currently have 9 or 10 universities participating in this collaboration this year compared to our 7 universities last time. So we would be more than happy to have you join our team. Having said that, we are up against a time crunch because our program does start in 18 days. So there is going to be a little bit of a rush necessary to make sure we get our post scheduled and our post up in time. And so you have enough time to understand what our program looks like. But yes, we would love to have everybody. Any more questions?
Brad, I was just wondering if you wanted to share how, we implemented that first program in November, and then you just shared, well, we're about to implement our third. So could you share how we went from our first, when our second one was, what that entailed?
Yep, sure. So our first, again, our first program went November of 2021 through December. And then because participants liked the program so much, we didn't actually have an official end date. So folks continued to post their pictures of their walks. And it sort of faded a little bit in that January timeframe, but we tried to inspire folks to post again in January. And then we held our second official walkaway program in May. So we held that, and we put up additional Facebook posts. So there's been a total of 60 infographics that have been created and shared to our group so far, in addition to 8 Facebook Live videos. So our program is ongoing all throughout the year. So even though there's an official start day and a start time, again, we still have Renee Martin, who some of the figures that Jamie gave were from our last presentation, but Renee is coming up on 365 days of walking, and she recently moved to the town that I'm in. So I actually joined her for a walk. It was like meeting a celebrity. It's like the Cal Ripken of walking. She's walked that many consecutive days. So it was really nice to see that continued engagement. And we have another lady who's posted 145 consecutive days of walking. So it's really a great, great program that has inspired lots of people. And you'll see from the comments in our group of the people that have said, thank you so much for this group. This has really inspired me. This is the only reason that I've gotten up today. I know it helps me. When the official challenge comes around, and it's 11 o'clock at night and I still haven't got my 30 minutes of walking in, I'm walking through the streets and it looks like I'm taking green photographs from the street lights, but I'm out there and I'm gonna make sure to get my steps in every day. So this group has benefited me a lot. I know it has benefited the other program collaborators in terms of trying to add additional physical activity into their busy lives, because we all have busy lives with work and kids and work and work and work and work and work. So yes, we are really looking forward to this third official session of our 30 for 30 walkaway. I hope I answered that question.
Yeah, and Brad, there's a question in chat. How long will this program go? 5 years, 10 years?
Well, if I'm 37 years old, let's say I make it to 100, that would make another 63 years that we're going to run the program. So we don't exactly have an end date for the program. And again, I think even without official programs happening during the time frames, it's still a motivating place for people to go.
Mhm.
And us as collaborators, we use this as a format to promote our own extension programs. So if Jamie is doing a yoga session, Jamie posts the link for her online yoga session, and folks can join that. If Serene has a canning class that she's working online, program participants can find that link from our Facebook group and join that. Let's see here. How can we best share the challenge with our colleagues and constituents? So we will share with all of you that joined today, we'll share with you the official flyer for our next round. And there's a QR code and a link on that flyer in which participants can be directed to it. If anybody is technically friendly real quick, and you could show a link to the Facebook group in the chat real quick, either Serene or Jamie, that might help out.
Did you just ask if I was technologically friendly?
Yeah, that was a mistake. I'm sorry, Jamie.
Yeah,
I know
please
the
don't
answer
do
to the
that.
question.
Yeah, you know the answer to that question, which is really funny. So those of you, like, I am not allowed to touch technology in my office. So the fact that I am part of a technology group has everyone in my office like giggling. So if you think that you can't, you can. Canva's really easy. The teammates make it really really user friendly, and everyone was very helpful in answering this old lady's question. So it was real. It's don't be intimidated. I promise. If I can do it, anyone can.
So we have a link to the Facebook group in the chat, and also my email address if you would like information on how to be a part of this collaboration. We would take absolutely as many agents as possible on this collaboration because that spreads our message and our program to more people. If somehow one day we could get one agent from each state in the country to do this program, holy smokes, that would be amazing. So I think we're taking baby steps towards that. We're growing our program right now. Ideally, hopefully we can hit the 2,000 member mark for our November challenge. That's kind of my own personal goal, is to grow the group by a couple hundred people so we can hit that 500 or that 2,000 participant mark. So with your help here in this webinar today, and if you were interested in our collaboration, that of course helps our efforts. But we are just so excited to be able to share this program with you guys. We're very proud of this program. We didn't know what this program was going to be when we started. We didn't know if there was going to be just 8 people in the group, and that would be just us 8 collaborators posting pictures of each other walking for 30 days, but it turned out to be a whole lot more of that. So we're really proud of it, and we really thank everyone for tuning in today for our program. Are there any additional questions before we sign off today?
I see no questions. Thank you, Jamie, Serene, and Brad. And for those that might be watching the recording, I will also send out Brad's contact information and the link for the Facebook group as well. So those that watch it not live will have all that information as well.